Zoo Lights has just switched on for the holiday season. The sparkling spectacle opened today. This is a live look as the zoo transforms into a brilliant winter wonderland. There are visits with Santa, and the North Pole is set up with a hot chocolate bar and a sugar plum station. Here's what else is making news tonight. The provincial government unveils an acute care action plan.
Hundreds more beds, tens of thousands of extra surgeries.
Will it be enough to relieve strain on the healthcare system?
There was a lot of words, there was a lot of rhetoric, but there wasn't much tangible.
Plus, crime in Calgary on the move.
It's really ramped up in the last, say, 3 years, 4 years.
I'm not going to lie, it's just scary.
As police improve safety in the core, Beltline business owners feel they've inherited the problems. And reining it in this holiday season.
It is concerning that, everything is more expensive.
Trimming the tree and then the Christmas gift list to cut expenses.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news tonight. Police are at Nose Hill Park after someone reported they had discovered human remains. Tim Brooke is there at the scene, and Tim, police have actually been there now for several hours.
That's right, Tara. Police arrived originally just before 11 o'clock this morning after a pedestrian in Nose Hill Park reported what appeared to be human remains. Of course, investigators followed police shortly after, and they've been here working throughout the day. Now, this all happened near the 6400 block of 14th Street Northwest. For some context, that's the main east entrance of Nose Hill Park, where we are right now and where these shots you're seeing were taken. We've seen police congregate closer to the middle of the park in the last few hours, and some investigators have also been spotted south of that. Of course, this is a large area to cover, so as you can imagine, being thorough will no doubt take some time. A lot of the work ahead now involves finding out exactly how old these remains are and who the person was. And we're expecting a little bit more information should become available once a medical examiner has a chance to complete an autopsy. In the meantime, Tara, police are actually asking members of the public to steer clear of this area so they can work. Back to you.
Okay, Tim, thank you. A Beltline grocery store has been hit twice by thieves in 1 week, and the owners say it's part of a troubling trend in the area. Alicia Fieldberg explains.
This one was broken.
A smashed window and theft overnight last week and another one this week. Now Kalamata grocery store is out roughly $20,000 in cash and products, plus the cost of repairs and new security features.
I'm spending now, $15,000 for the screens to come down.
It's frustrating for the family who owns and runs the oldest active grocery store in the city.
So 1905 is when it first opened.
Other businesses in the historic block have already installed metal coverings.
The whole area has changed, and it's scary at night. It's been going on for years and getting worse and worse every day.
It's impacting business along 11th Street Southwest.
Our foot traffic has completely died down while these drug addicts shooting up in the park or defecating. And if you're seeing that, what are you going to do? You're going to run away.
They believe the problems were pushed to the area over the past few years.
They pretty much just chased them out of downtown, and now they're here.
So if you can't be on the river and you can't be on the LRT, you're going to be in every other park in the inner city coming this way.
Across the city, break-ins are down. Police are investigating the 2 incidents at Kalamata. The store's security video shows a masked thief, but police say that doesn't protect most criminals.
You can cover your face, but generally we find they wear the same clothes. But what you have to remember is if you commit a crime with a face covering, you do face more penalties.
While most break-ins involve thefts, police say the value is often small, yet with big risks to the criminals.
You could end up with jail time and criminal record, just diminishing returns for your own life because it's harder to get a job, harder to get housing.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
Police recommend businesses make sure they are secured, have obvious video cameras, keep good relationships with neighbors, watch out for each other, and of course report any suspicious activity. The WHL has suspended the general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes and fined the club $10,000. The league says Peter Anholt breached standards of conduct through intimidating behavior and language during an address to players in the dressing room after a game last month. He is suspended until November 26th. In a a statement, Anholt says his behavior did not meet expectations and he accepts the discipline. The incident was reported through the WHL's anonymous 1-800-RESPECT line. Alberta is promising a major expansion of hospital capacity, including new beds and more surgeries. But opposition voices say the plan is long on announcements and short on action. Here's Mark Villani.
Alberta's government says it's making big moves to boost hospital capacity and cut wait times.
Our acute care action plan is about putting patients and providers first, and that's why we've refocused healthcare.
The province is announcing plans to create more than 1,000 hospital beds over the next 3 years in Edmonton and Calgary. It says mental health and addiction are major drivers of emergency room visits, so it's increasing the number of permanent psychiatric beds, and it's also introducing a neonatal intensive care unit strategy, all while making a commitment to deliver 50,000 additional surgeries.
By expanding hospital operating room capacity and partnering with chartered surgical facilities, ensuring more Albertans receive timely surgeries within clinically recommended wait times.
But some critics say such a plan lacks real action.
There wasn't timelines, there wasn't clear goals. What we really saw today was a so-called action plan as cover for what's really a plan to escalate surgical privatization.
26 facilities across Alberta are experiencing emergency room or obstetric closures. FOIP documents also show paramedics working upwards of 30,000 overtime hours each month this year.
Building a few beds in Edmonton and Calgary doesn't solve the staffing crisis that we're in.
Still, the province says restructuring healthcare is the answer. Premier Smith also said she talked to surgical centers who say they have plenty of room.
Their answer was overwhelmingly yes. And so that's why we're adding additional incremental dollars in order to pay based on the surgeries performed.
Alberta's opposition disagrees.
This premier said she would solve healthcare in 90 days. It's been 1,000 days and healthcare has never been worse.
Mark joins us from the South Health Campus tonight. So, Mark, the province is aiming to ease the healthcare pressures, but it has also been dealing with a frustrated workforce.
Yeah, that's right, Tara. Finance Minister Nate Horner saying tonight that mediation between Alberta Health Services and the Health Sciences Association of Alberta has now hit a key milestone, with a third-party mediator now recommending terms for a new deal. Now, both sides will take those terms to a ratification vote. This after 60% of the HSAA members have rejected a 4-year 12% wage increase. Now, Horner did thank paramedics, therapists and other frontline staff, but he says there will be no further comment until that ratification vote takes place. Tara.
Okay, Mark, thank you. 2 more Albertans have died from the flu, 1 person in their 40s and 1 in their 80s. That brings the total number of deaths from influenza this season to 3. The province also reports 6 deaths from COVID in the first week of this month, mainly people in their 70s or older. Meanwhile, vaccination rates are behind last season's pace. In the first 3 weeks of the provincial vaccination campaign, about 223,000 COVID shots were administered. In the same time period last year, more than 442,000 Albertans got their COVID shots. The Premier had this to say about the respiratory virus season so far.
We are monitoring it. There's a website every day where we can look and see what the latest outbreaks are. At the moment, I think we have more patients hospitalized because of influenza than we do COVID. So it's as we get into the respiratory virus season, we always end up with this kind of impact. And so we're hopeful people will take the precautionary measures.
97,000 flu vaccine shots were given province-wide in the last week and 36,000 COVID shots.
You're watching CTV News Calgary.
The Christmas season is nearly upon us, and a new survey has found many Canadians plan to cut back on holiday shopping this year. 3 in 5 say they plan to adjust their spending plans amid concerns about tariff-related inflation. John Vinavelli-Rao reports.
At Toronto's Eaton Centre, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And with the holiday season fast approaching, some shoppers already crossing names off their list.
We're just getting ready. We already have our trees up. We're doing some shopping today. We're going to hit some other malls as well and do some shopping.
And the survey offering a snapshot of how Canadians plan to spend amid worries about tariffs, the job market, and inflation.
I think things are really expensive right now, so I'm probably going to be cutting back a little bit this year, or budgeting well, or just making sure I'm buying things on like Black Friday.
The survey by BMO finding 41% plan to cut back on holiday spending and 15% budgeting to shell out more on gifts, anticipating higher prices due to tariffs.
It is concerning that, everything is more expensive.
Some said they plan to buy more Canadian-made products to avoid tariffs, while a quarter said they started shopping early to avoid potential tariff-related price increases. And respondents on average plan to spend $2,300, which includes travel and food.
There's this general just concern from Canadians of just maybe needing to be really fiscally responsible over the holidays, because there's still a little bit of uncertainty of where things are headed next year.
As for where Canadians may cut spending, holiday decorations, travel, and dining out were top items.
I'm finding the prices have gone up so much, just even food. So I think this year definitely spending a lot less on presents in general.
A separate survey recently found more than half of Canadians feel anxious about affording the holidays, and 61% don't feel financially prepared for them. Meanwhile, a quarter of those surveyed by BMO said they plan to cut back on the number of people on their holiday gift list. John Benavelli-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, if buying more Canadian-made products to avoid tariffs is part of your shopping plan this holiday season, you are in luck. Here's a live look at the International Christmas Market at Spruce Meadows, which kicked off today. Now in its 24th year, the market attracts 100,000 visitors from around the world. There are more than 100 vendors, and organizers say, given the geopolitical tensions and trade barriers in the world right now, they need your support more than ever.
To come out and be able to support your local entrepreneurs, those artists and craftsmen and vendors that spend all year, really living and working in the community, and allows us to also regenerate that economic activity within the community and not having it go abroad.
You can get photos with Santa in exchange for a $10 donation to support Habitat for Humanity. And new this year, guests are asked to donate new unwrapped toys for children in support of the Women in Need Society. The market runs for 3 weekends, starting this weekend, wrapping up November 30th. And Danielle joins us now. It's actually going to be a nice weekend for people who are going to be outside, maybe taking in the market.
Yeah, really nice weekend. You know, we got a little taste of winter today just to get you in the festive season, to make you think Christmas shopping. But it's just a little taste of winter today. We're getting eased into this year, aren't we? We've been just below that freezing mark this afternoon. -1 is the temperature right now. With the wind chill, it feels like -4. For tomorrow, as Tara mentioned, much nicer, much brighter, especially by the afternoon, but it will be windy. We're getting into more of a Chinook setup once again tomorrow, gusting 40 to 50 kilometers per hour in the afternoon, but that will get us up to 9 degrees. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. A high-profile UCP MLA launches a counter-campaign against a recall petition. Dimitrios Nicolaides is pushing back after becoming the target of legislation created by his own party. And later, there's safety in numbers. This little seal seemed to know that, hitching a ride with tourists to avoid a pod of killer whales. A provincial cabinet minister is now fighting back against a recall petition aimed at removing him from office. But Dimitrios Nicolaides isn't the only UCP politician being targeted for recall, with legislation their own government brought in. Political scientists are watching how the government handles this growing discontent. Here's Stephanie Thomas.
Alberta's Minister of Education and Childcare is considered the highest profile UCP MLA to be targeted by recall legislation. If the applicant collects 16,000 signatures by January, or 60% of the total votes cast when Dimitrios Nicolaides won in 2023, then a by-election would be called. Now, he's pushing back.
Yeah, we sent out a note to supporters just to encourage them to volunteer and help out. I've been getting a lot of emails from people asking, do you have a lawn sign I can put on my lawn?
Nicolaides says lawn signs aren't likely with a limited budget, but he is seeking help on the ground with door knocking.
And I think that's important. I think constituents need both sides of the coin. And
the recall petition has support of teachers and labor leaders frustrated by the province's handling of the labor dispute that ended with teachers being ordered back to work through the use of the notwithstanding clause. Now the Alberta Federation of Labor plans to boost recall campaigns against other UCP MLAs.
The UCP is spooked by
recall initiatives and citizen initiative campaigns.
In an open letter, Airdrie East MLA Angela Pitt claimed the applicant behind her recall petition was misusing his public position as a school principal. Nicolaides says the application against him is flawed as it lacks evidence of an ethical or legal breach. Still, Nicolaides isn't calling for the recall legislation itself to be recalled. Alberta's NDP opposition leader said he would.
You're going to pass the law. If you're going to be the government and pass the law, you've got to fund it. So the fact that they refuse to give Elections Alberta the money to manage the recalls is shocking and should make every Albertan angry.
Political watchers say there may be trouble for the UCP for not providing the $13 million requested by Elections Alberta to manage all the citizen initiative petitions, or if it moves to amend recall legislation despite previously championing it.
They now look like they are not willing to follow through on the promise of being able to have your voice heard between elections. There may be a broader political price for this government to pay.
A UCP-led committee only approved slightly less than $1.5 million requested by Elections Alberta. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
The deadline for the submission of signatures to recall Dimitrios Nicolaides is January 21st. The NDP is raising awareness about legislation currently being heard that would see an increase to the province's minimum wage. Currently, the minimum wage is $15 an hour in Alberta, the lowest in Canada. A recent report by Vibrant Communities Calgary found the city's living wage, that's the wage required to provide a modest standard of living, has actually climbed to over $26 an hour. The NDP's bill would see the minimum wage increase to $16 an hour next month, $18 by October 2027, and then adjusted based on inflation starting October 2028.
We think that what we're putting forward is a thoughtful, reasoned way. Look, if we wanted to go straight to living wage immediately, it would make a lot of difference for a lot of people, but it would also be very disruptive. So we're being measured, we're being thoughtful.
Alberta's minimum wage has not increased since 2018. The bill is currently making its way through the legislature, and a vote could take place next week.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Danielle joins us again. Well, let's look back to tomorrow, because it was, or yesterday rather, because it was so nice we actually broke some records.
Yeah, we had that strong Chinook wind. Yeah, it was strong. Well, you know, some cases over 100 kilometers per hour, but we got over that 20 mark in some communities, and for some areas this actually broke records. So Cardston area, actually 8 communities in Alberta broke records for new daytime highs, and just to name a few, Cardston area got to 18.6 yesterday, Claresholm 20 degrees, Coronation above 17, Drumheller close to 20, and Crow's Nest Pass area 14.8. So we went from that to not getting above freezing in the afternoon today. What a difference a day makes. Definitely makes a lot of sense when you live on the lee side of the Rockies. All right, 48 kilometers per hour. That was the maximum wind gust in Pincher Creek, but gustier in Lethbridge at 70 and close to 70 in Medicine Hat. We are still looking at gusty conditions in all of southern Alberta for tomorrow. Calgary closer to 40, even 50 kilometers per hour. Lethbridge, Medicine Hat as well, and maybe 60 in Pincher Creek, Crow's Nest Pass area. We got cut off from the Chinook conditions today, as you know. It was still windy, but not out of the right direction to knock the temperatures up. Now, we did get to 2 as our high, but that was at 2 a.m. And then this afternoon, we didn't get above freezing. We were around -1, -2. With the wind chill, it feels more like -4 in the city. Pincher Creek feels more like -6 right now with that lovely wind chill. Same thing in Lethbridge, and it feels more like -2 in Drumheller. So it's a cool day today, but again, it's just a one-day taste of winter to ease us into it. Here's the big low pressure system core. So it spins counterclockwise. That's actually pushing some air up the mountains, and we also have a low in BC. These are working together to enhance the snowfall that is now slumped south of Calgary and mainly in the far south. So we're pretty much done with it in Calgary. You may run into a couple snowflakes here and there, but the bulk of it is done, and it will clear out of the far south tonight. We will have another blip that will arrive, and this will come with freezing rain. We may even see a little bit of this really early in the morning in Calgary and down Highway 2. Freezing rain, even some snowflakes mixed in with this. It's short-lived, and it should be completely out of Alberta by 9 a.m. Then the clouds will clear. By tomorrow afternoon, it should be mainly sunny, but the winds are going to pick up. The Chinook machine kicks in once again tomorrow, and that will increase our temperatures. So much warmer again tomorrow, but windy. 40 to 50 kilometer per hour gusts, a high of 9 degrees, then 6 for Sunday, less windy. Then the winds pump back in, get us up to 9 on Monday. That's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast. All right, we're in the first week of Toy Mountain, and we've already collected more than 200 toys with a cash value of over $7,000, all in support of Fear Is Not Love. Our goal this year is to raise $850,000 worth of donations. November is Family Violence Prevention Month. Calgary police say call volumes are on the rise.
Well, unfortunately, we're still seeing calls for service, both for violent and non-violent calls going up in the city. We have a great partnership with Fear Is Not Love. We're part of the Equally Safe team, which goes out with a social worker or case manager and our police officers to provide help directly to victims of domestic violence. We also work with their Men Am program to get men the resources that they need prior to committing violence.
Your generous donations help victims escaping domestic violence who often leave with nothing. You can find a drop-off location nearest to you on our website or make a cash donation online at ctvcalgary.ca.
Santa Claus is now visiting families at South Centre Mall.
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas to you.
Santa arrived today at the mall's Enchanted Forest, and we'll be hearing kids' Christmas wishes for the next few weeks. Visitors can also see the Cookie Kitchen with some hands-on fun for kids. Donations there benefit Made by Mama, which distributes food hampers to families in need.
It is important to keep the holiday magic alive. You know, this space has been designed with that purpose, to make the visit magic and make sure that people who come and see Santa have a great time and a lot of opportunities to build memories.
You can book your visits with Santa in advance at southcentremall.com/holidays. Residents in Citadel say they aren't playing around, though they would like to, but a local playground has been demolished with no plans for a rebuild. And later, big injuries for a Montreal cyclist who thought she was riding through a puddle. It was much deeper than that. People living in the northwest community of Citadel are frustrated that a playground was demolished without any plans to build a replacement. It speaks to a larger issue happening across the city, according to one councillor. Jacqueline Wilson reports.
This playground in Citadel was once a place of adventure and fun.
It means everything to the children and the neighbors. This is where we meet. This is where families meet. You know, this is where kids become lifelong friends.
But the beloved playground has been demolished.
We have young kids, and having a safe place that's close by, you know, it is one of the reasons that we actually came to this neighborhood in the first place 10 years ago. And so having it gone, obviously, is a detriment.
According to the city, the wood structure from 1998 had come to the end of its life cycle, and there are 2 other playgrounds 500 meters away. The plan was to replace the old one with something different.
They ended up deciding to put a ping pong table, as well as a cornhole toss, as well as another funnel game, I believe is what it was called. All of which, you know, people would have to bring their own equipment.
A public feedback report commissioned by the city actually shows strongest support for an updated playground, so neighbors are confused.
There was approximately 148 responses, and 112 of them were passionate pleas to save the park.
The outcry reached area councillor Jennifer Wyness, who agrees with the playground replacement and says this case speaks to a larger citywide issue.
I'm also working on a notice of motion where councillors will actually be able to inject and direct the organization to properly address life cycle maintenance for what the true life expectancy of these parks actually are, rather than assuming that they are a 100-year park asset when we actually know that they are a 25-year asset. It's got to change that mindset to truly acknowledge the reality of the problem that is before us.
For now, the project is on hold until another round of public consultation is complete. It's hope for Francie and Fletcher, who just want to see kids have fun and make memories once again. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
The city maintains more than 1,100 playgrounds. Each is expected 7 times a year to ensure guidelines are being met. The city budgets $1.2 million to replace 10 to 12 playgrounds per year. A big donation will go a long way toward helping young Calgary families in need. London Drugs has donated 5,600 units of infant formula. Several pallets are now at the food bank warehouse. The donation is valued at $364,000. The food bank says demand for formula continues to outpace supply.
We are so excited about this partnership, and we couldn't be off to a better start. This is an incredible donation, and this product behind us will last us about 3 months.
It's a very sought-after product. Obviously, the price has gone up in a number of years, and there's many new families that are really struggling to feed their kids. So we're happy to be able to be here and make this donation.
The donation is part of London Drugs' Formula One campaign in association with the makers of Good Start baby formula. The Cochran Legion has been a hub for the community for more than half a century. Now a team of volunteers is giving the aging facility a facelift. We have more on the renovations next. Legions across the country are seeing a decline in membership, and that, of course, means finances are tight with little money for upkeep. The Cochran Legion turned 51 years old this month, and it's in need of a refresh. So a member reached out to a few of his business partners, and an army of volunteers showed up to get the work done. Kevin Fleming reports.
They're attacking the main floor of the Cochran Legion because many hands make light work of a project this size. Their goal is to paint the entire main floor in just one day. Lorelei Funky is a volunteer. She's with Avalon Master Builder, but isn't a painter.
Oh, I feel great. I love volunteering, so this is perfect. And learning a new skill. They sure showed me how to paint, so yeah. I don't know if I'm doing a good job, but whatever.
I just right away said yes without really thinking about the impact, and then when you come, you're talking to the people at the Legion, and you're just like, wow, this was the right thing to do.
A few of the professional painters from Vola Coatings are also volunteering their time for the project and brought in all the paint and supplies for everyone.
We're looking close to over $4,000 worth of time and material, right? We've been grateful to work with Sherwin-Williams. They've helped us out on this case, and of course, our staff directly is very much ambitious to be a part of it all.
Downstairs in the kitchen, Fonzie Corcoran and his team are preparing a meal of beer-battered Atlantic cod for everyone. Not only is he a good cook, but he's the one that spearheaded the renovation by securing the businesses to help out.
It makes me proud knowing that the veterans are coming in here, and they know that there's still a lot of people got a lot of love for the veterans. And this is all about love. So this is everybody coming together, supporting the Legion, supporting our veterans.
Brad Ross is the head of the Legion and says the work being done today will likely cost more than $10,000. Ross is a veteran and says this refresh will make a difference.
A lot of us have a hard time asking for help. And when people come up and step up and do this, it's really warming, and it just goes to show there are people out there that do have good intentions in mind, that are here for the benefit of others.
The Legion is now open to the general public, not just members, and Ross is hopeful the renovation will bring in more business. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Cochran.
The Legion is also looking at refurbishing the bathrooms, resurfacing the bar, and getting a new deck. It's fundraising for those projects, but it would welcome a business to partner with to help with the costs. Looks terrific. That's great work.
Great stuff.
Well, if you have any leftover Halloween candy, what's leftover Halloween candy? I don't know. But anyway, if you do,
how's that?
Here's a recipe for those who love sweet treats and probably don't mind cavities.
Easy treat to make this fall. Start off with some peanuts, M&Ms, some mini pretzels, jumbo marshmallows, chocolate chips.
Okay. Doesn't end there. There's also chocolate chips, some Chex cereal, some Rice Krispies. Then she threw in some butter and some scoops of caramel dip. Turned the barbecue on, melted it all on the barbecue, piles it into this tray, puts it in the fridge for a couple of hours.
Wow.
And then I guess you just cut it into chunks and eat it.
Huh. And your grill will never be the same.
No, I'm not sure.
Like
that's what I was thinking. Is I don't know if I would do that on the barbecue.
Probably
you
not
could
on the
do
barbecue.
that in a big pot on the stove if you really wanted to.
Well, forget bringing lasagna to the work Christmas party. I'm going to make that now.
I dare you. I challenge you, in fact. A harbor seal has made the escape of the century.
Oh, my God. Oh, you poor thing. I am shaking right now.
Okay, just watch. This was off an island in Washington State earlier this month. A group of photographers was watching a pod of orcas. There's about 4 of them there. I think they were eyeballing the seal as a snack. The seal was having none of it. He jumped onto the boat. The orcas took off after about 20 minutes, and when the photographers began heading back to shore, the seal decided, okay, I'm probably good, and jumped back into the water.
I'm safe now.
Talk about smart.
What a smart little guy.
Yeah. You knew where to go. Well, finally, if you don't have a big budget for a music video, you just have to think outside the box.
Why does rainfall on the best days? Why does love hurt in the worst way? Why do good things never last?
These kiddos use their mom's doorbell camera. So these young rockers use the Ring camera to shoot their music video. It looks great, and about 28 million people have viewed this video. So good thinking, guys.
Kids are so creative.
So smart.
Right?
And they sound great, and they look great.
Oh, wow.
That is amazing.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Very good. Still to come, a Calgary-based energy company is spending big to move more oil. We have details on Enbridge's plan to boost crude exports to U.S. refineries.
Your Skywatch weather camera on a day that gave us a little bit of winter, just a little bit. We were just below that freezing mark this afternoon. We have wind chill. Barely, but we have some wind chill. But things are going to change tomorrow once again. So we're back into the warmer weather as the Chinook machine kicks in again tomorrow. -1 is that current temperature. 2 degrees was our daytime high, but that was at 2 a.m. But you look at our daytime high and you look at normal, which is also 2, we're where we should be for this time of year. We'll boost back up, but for now, it's on the cooler side. With the wind chill, it feels like -4 in the city and Clare's home. Pincher Creek feels more like -6 with that lovely wind chill. Banff -4. And the winds are a little tamer in Medicine Hat, so it feels like the actual temperature of -1 there. Okay, we should not have to deal with much wind chill in Calgary tomorrow morning. By 8 a.m. we'll be at that freezing mark. We still have, while this has all made its way out of Calgary, we still have in the far south some flurries that are starting to push on out. This is possible in the far south right up until about midnight. And then we get a second wave that will creep in early tomorrow morning. And then after that, we're done and it's calm and quiet for the weekend. It will be windy though. So the winds will kick in, especially tomorrow afternoon in the city. 40 to 50 kilometer per hour gusts out of the west, but that will get us up to 9 degrees, and there should be a good amount of sunshine by the afternoon hours. That's your Action Forecast 24-hour forecast. Action Furnace fixed right or it's free. Okay, a little dance around. 11 degrees in Kelowna for tomorrow, 8 in Fernie. We're looking at quiet weather in Alberta, although windy. 2 for Edmonton, 4 for Red Deer, 6 for Drumheller, and when we head down to Lethbridge, double digits, 10 degrees. Medicine Hat will still see some showers in the morning and a high of 9 in the afternoon. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. Calgary police are at Nose Hill Park after someone reported the discovery of human remains. Investigators have been searching for any other evidence in the park since about 11 this morning. They are asking the public to avoid the area this weekend. A Beltline grocery store has been hit twice by burglars in 1 week, and the owners say it's part of a troubling trend in the area. They are out roughly $20,000 in cash and products. And the provincial government has unveiled plans to create more than 1,000 hospital beds and deliver 50,000 additional surgeries over the next 3 years. Critics question how all of that will be staffed. Just 3 days before MPs cast their vote on the Liberal budget, a parliamentary watchdog is throwing some cold water on the government's accounting and its promise to meet its own deficit targets. CTV national correspondent Judy Trinh takes a closer look.
There is one figure all sides agree on. Budget 2025 comes with a whopping $78 billion deficit. Parliament's budget watchdog says that digging out of the hole will be harder than the Liberal government is letting on.
We think that the definition the government's used around capital investments is overly expansive. And in particular, they've thrown some things in there, some categories of spending, which other jurisdictions in other countries would not typically include.
Under Mark Carney, the budget is split into operational costs, day-to-day expenses like the salaries of public servants, versus capital investments, such as long-term funding for major projects.
The United States has changed. That's their right. We must respond. That is our imperative. And the budget builds Canada strong by focusing on what we can control.
Despite the record deficit, the finance minister says the government will balance the operating side in 3 years and shrink the deficit to GDP ratio starting next year.
100% of our MPs oppose the costly Carney credit card budget that is going to drive up the cost of food, housing, and living.
The government's categorization of $311 billion in capital investments is significantly higher than the watchdog's number of $217 billion. It's a difference of $94 billion that the budget officer says should be added to operational costs, making it less likely for the government to balance that side of the ledger.
In fact, over the 5-year horizon, the operating budget would not be balanced at all.
The budget watchdog is recommending that independent experts determine exactly what is a capital investment, given how subjective the definition can be. As for Monday, Parliament resumes and the public should brace for another round of confidence votes on the budget. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
In Brazil, Indigenous protesters blocked the main entrance to the COP30 climate conference today. The demonstrators say they want a voice at the table. Conference participants were rerouted elsewhere, and the peaceful protest ended after a discussion with the climate talks president. Conference organizers have touted this edition of the annual meeting as an opportunity for Indigenous people to have more prominence in the discussions. Enbridge has approved an investment that will see more Canadian heavy oil sent to the U.S. BNN Bloomberg's Marla Fernandez has the details.
The Canadian pipeline operator will spend $1.4 billion to increase the amount of oil it sends south. That investment will allow Enbridge to send another 150,000 barrels of oil a day through the Mainline network, which runs from Western to Eastern Canada and the U.S. Midwest. And it will add 100,000 barrels a day to the Flanagan South pipeline, which runs to the U.S. Gulf Coast. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down a fraction to 71.30. West Texas Intermediate crude is up over $1 to 59.95. Western Canadian Select is up, but only by 13 cents to 46.90. And the TSX gained only 72 points, a small reversal after yesterday's big drop of over 500 points. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marla Fernandez.
A Montreal woman is sharing her nightmare after cycling through what she thought was a puddle. It sent her to hospital with serious injuries to her face. Darlene Demchuk is seen here approaching what looks like a puddle, only to fall into an uncovered construction pit while trying to avoid cycling into traffic. The impact broke her nose, and she required immediate facial reconstruction surgery.
The fact that I could just ride my bike into that hole tells me that it wasn't properly secured.
Soon after, Demchuk returned and measured the depth of the pit with a 10-foot pole to show the dangers of leaving that area uncovered. A man who pleaded guilty to a brazen art theft was caught on camera. He's going to prison. The 49-year-old used a hammer to smash his way into a gallery in central London last year. He made off with a signed print of Girl with Balloon by British street artist Banksy. It's valued at more than $350,000. Police tracked him down 2 days later, and the artwork was recovered shortly after. The thief was handed a 13-month sentence. A Calgary fighter's debut in the UFC went exactly as planned. How Melissa Crowden is focusing on a big fight in Las Vegas next. Katrina LeMaidon is stepping down from Sport Calgary after 9 years. The Olympian had been president and CEO of the organization. The board says recruitment for her replacement is underway. The 112th Grey Cup is set for Sunday in Winnipeg. Glenn is back with us now, and the playoffs up to this point were great.
Tara, just about every game in the postseason has come down to the final play of the game. Let's hope the Grey Cup is just as good. This year's Grey Cup pits the Saskatchewan Roughriders up against the Montreal Alouettes. For the Riders, it's their first appearance in the big game since 2013. The Alouettes were last in the Grey Cup in 2023 when they beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, one of the big questions heading into this game is the health of Al's quarterback, Davis Alexander. He's been battling a hamstring injury throughout the year and seemed to re-injure it last weekend, but he says he's good to go.
If I'm being as honest as possible, it's gone better than I expected. I think the benefit is that I have been dealing with this all year. You know, I think cat's out the bag, so there's nothing really to hide. So I think, yeah, definitely it's gone better than we expected, and just got to keep trending in the right direction and give ourselves the best opportunity to go win this thing.
And kickoff for the Grey Cup will be 4 o'clock our time on Sunday. You can watch it on TSN and CTV. Melissa Croton of Calgary won her first fight in the UFC. Croton took care of business last month and is now looking forward to her next fight December 13th in Las Vegas.
Good heart shown here by...
Melissa Scare Croton's debut in the UFC couldn't have gone much better. Croton proved once again she can pack a powerful punch. The 34-year-old took care of Brazil's Tanaira Lisoba in the third round of their match in Vancouver on October 18th.
I think I had 9 weeks to prepare for it. It was ideal, and then just getting that win was the cherry on top, really, of everything. But it was quite a surreal experience. I've never fought in a stadium like that before. It was Rogers Arena, so experiencing that was, you know, probably one of the highlights of my life.
Croton signed a 4-fight contract with the UFC, but every time she steps into the octagon, she has to prove herself if she wants to advance further. Croton's strength is striking, and people are noticing.
Yeah, and I think my style is pretty entertaining too. People like strikers. I think they, you know, as far as an entertainment business goes, people tend to lean on the side of favoring strikers because people want to see a little bit of blood. It's like, you know, the Coliseum, but in 2025, if you will.
Curtis DeMars is Croton's coach. He says the win was big for the country.
Definitely a historic moment for Canada, being there and just being in good spirits with her. She did really well, just like we assumed, and she puts in the work, so I wasn't surprised by the outcome, but definitely a good start for her career in the UFC.
Croton's next fight is in Las Vegas on December 13th, where she'll take on Luana Santos, another Brazilian fighter.
Really, really good judo, great grappling, decent striking. So yeah, it's going to be another challenge that I'm really, really excited to face. So it is a quick turnaround, but I'm excited to have the opportunity to stay this active.
A very impressive debut indeed.
No kidding. Good for her. Congratulations.
Wow.
Okay, well, let's see what our weekend is doing.
Impressive as well, I would say. The Chinook machine kicks back in. It won't be as chilly as today. So 9 degrees. It will be as our daytime high for tomorrow. So tomorrow will be one of those warm, windy days once again. 40 to 50 kilometer per hour gusts possible in the afternoon. We lose the wind a little bit on Sunday, so we'll drop down to 6 for a daytime high, and then it returns on Monday, and it'll bring us back up to 9 on Monday, and flurries return for Monday night and through Tuesday morning. Now, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, just a heads up, we'll struggle to get above freezing in the afternoon. So it'll be a 3-day cool stretch for next week. Okay, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, Alberta's climate. And Ron Jeffrey sent this in from Woodbine. Magical Calgary, he calls it. And you can see the nice Chinook arch and the cool colors on sunset there.
Oh, yeah, the colors are fantastic. Thanks, Ron. And thank you for your company tonight. Have a terrific weekend.